A single unconscious gesture was all it took for Pete to realize that his wife of 6 years was a world-class assassin.
I got it.
I'll get a towel.
Pete quickly grabbed a pistol from his study while Julie jumped into her car and sped away from the house at full throttle. Seeing her flee, Pete immediately gave chase, desperate to catch up and have a face-to-face conversation to clear the air. But he was a step too late. He kept trying to cut her off by taking shortcuts, but ended up crashing into a guardrail, causing his gun to accidentally discharge. The bullet hit Julie's windshield dead center, instantly transforming her confusion into pure rage. She floored the gas pedal and aimed straight for Pete, who was still trying to explain himself. Despite her aggressive driving, Pete continued his attempts at explanation, but Julie was too furious to listen to a word he said. Left with no choice, Pete smashed through her car window and climbed inside, only to watch Julie bail out of the moving vehicle. With nowhere else to go,
We need to talk.
Pete crashed at a colleague's place while Julie returned to her office. Both spent the night tossing and turning, unable to sleep. The next morning, Julie showed up at their house with a team of operatives and conducted a thorough search of the entire property. When Pete finally returned home, he discovered that his secret weapons cache had been completely cleaned out. Driven to absolute fury, Pete threw punches and kicks at thin air. Since his wife had made the first move, he knew he had to respond in kind. Pete stealthily infiltrated Julie's office building, but the security system detected his presence immediately. Julie trapped him in an elevator and threatened to blow him up with explosives unless he left town for good. Pete didn't believe his wife would actually go through with it, but her clueless subordinate actually detonated the bomb.
What the hell was that? What? You said goodbye.
Sending the elevator plummeting to the ground at breakneck speed. When Julie arrived to survey the damage, the scene was complete chaos, and she assumed Pete had actually been killed in the explosion. That evening, Julie went alone to the hotel where Pete had proposed to her, tears streaming down her face. As she sat there reminiscing about all their shared memories, a familiar pair of hands refilled her wine glass. Julie's grief instantly transformed into joy. Pete had hijacked the elevator's surveillance system and hidden in another elevator during their earlier confrontation. Pete invited Julie to dance, and they began another round of testing each other's intentions. Both suspected the other of using their marriage as cover for their assassin identity. Julie suddenly excused herself to use the restroom, but Pete knew it wasn't that simple. Sure enough, an explosion rocked the bathroom the moment she entered. Just as Pete was about to head upstairs to look for her, Julie had already blended into the crowd and made her elegant exit. When Pete rushed outside, he heard the telltale ticking of a bomb on his clothing. He immediately ripped off his jacket and threw it into a trash can, which exploded seconds later. It was clear that Julie was serious about eliminating him. Furious beyond reason, Pete borrowed a car and raced home at top speed. He carefully broke a second-floor window and snuck inside, retrieved a pistol hidden behind a painting, and began searching every corner of the house. Using a mirror to check the stairway's blind spots, he nearly got his head blown off by Julie the next second.
You still alive, baby?
Pete faked being wounded, then quickly got up and launched a counterattack. Julie nimbly dodged his assault and unleashed a barrage of gunfire, all of which Pete managed to evade with ease. Julie showed no mercy as she sprayed bullets throughout the house, forcing Pete to scramble for cover. He dove behind the refrigerator, using it as a shield to block all of Julie's shots. Pete yanked open a drawer, grabbed a kitchen knife, and hurled it at Julie. Then he ripped open the gas line. After reloading, Julie resumed her frenzied shooting at the kitchen, unknowingly walking right into Pete's trap. The massive explosion sent her flying backward, and before she could recover, Pete charged out and they engaged in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Pete thought his physical advantages would give him the upper hand, but Julie started using makeshift weapons that left him dazed and disoriented. After dozens of rounds, neither could gain the advantage over the other. At the crucial moment, both simultaneously reached for guns on the floor. After staring at each other intensely, Pete, unable to bring himself to pull the trigger, was the first to lower his weapon. Looking at Julie's tear-filled eyes, Pete pushed her gun aside, and the two embraced in a passionate kiss.